morning and welcome to our live this morning. A slightly different time today. I was deliberating yesterday that I would pop on earlier than normal, and I must have realised in the back of my mind why I was doing that, and that's because I'm actually out this evening for a meal with some very dear friends of mine. So I brought the today's session forward to 10:30, and we are focusing this week on stamp sets that will be retiring at the end of December. Well, technically the 3rd of January, but retiring at the end of December from our catalogue. So if you're joining me for the first time, good morning. My name's Jenny McCormack, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in a small market town of Brackley, and that's in Northamptonshire in the UK. And this week I've been focusing, or will be focusing, on retiring sets, some of which are discounted. And I had to say that I had a little panic this morning because last night I decided that I was going to use this stamp set, and I always check that that's still available before I go live. And so this morning I did a search on the Stampin' Up website and I couldn't find it, and I thought, oh, it's sold out. And then it clocked that I was actually looking at the American website, and of course their stock levels are different. We have a warehouse here in Germany that services all of Europe. So I did a sharp intake of breath and then excuse me, hi Jeanette, hi Bridie, and then hopped over to the UK site, and sure enough it's still available. So Gorgeous Leaves is a cling stamp set, so it's red rubber mounted onto foam, and it clings to your acrylic block. And these are the stamped images, and these, if you like leaves and foliage, I just think these are so stunning. You get 3 background stamps as well, so you get this wood effect. I'm hoping that's not reflecting too much. There we go. You get this wood grain, you get these dots, and then some finer dots. You get the 3 different styles of leaves, so like a beech leaf, a maple or sycamore, and then I don't know what that is. I should do, but I don't know what it is. And then you also get these small leaves as well. So this stamp set is still £20 and it's still available as of the time of recording. And then I'm matching this with Heartfelt Wishes. This was £20 and is reduced to £10. It is also a foam and cling matte stamp set, and it's obviously just sentiments, but I really like the style, and I've used this quite a lot during the last 6 months. So we have Merry Christmas, Happiest Holidays, Much Gratitude, Sending Love and Cheers. And then in smaller typeface, which I appreciate you probably can't read from there, To You and Yours, This Wondrous Season, and Heartfelt Wishes, From Our Family, and a Happy New Year. Yeah, the large dots are good, aren't they? And also the little dots for, you know, covering up any blemishes. Quite useful. So what I'm excuse me, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing Sending Love and Heartfelt Wishes, I think. Or I could do Sending Love to You and Yours, Sending Love and Happy New Year, or Sending Love From Our Family. Obviously the top 2 are very much Christmas. Happiest Holidays is what they tend to use in America. Obviously they call it holiday season. Much Gratitude you could use all year long, and Sending Love and Cheers as well, I think you could use all year long. So a good stamp set, and that's now just £10. So I'm going to make 3 cards. I have got the stamps mounted up. and I'm going to be using 3 main colours, and this just shows the excellent coordination of Stampin' Up products, because I've got the cardstock to match my main colours that I'm going to use for my leaves. So I put together Mossy Meadow and Soft Sea Foam. So I'm going to use Soft Sea Foam for my background, Mossy Meadow for my leaf, and I'm going to mount that onto this Mossy Meadow card. I've got Grey Granite and Merry Merlot, and I'm going to use the Merry Merlot card. And then finally I've got Sahara Sand, but I might change that, I'm not quite sure, with Mango Melody, and I'm going to mount that onto Mango Melody card. And for these I'm using our note cards and envelopes, but I'm just going to be stamping onto a small piece of our basic white card. This measures 3 inches by 4.5 inches. Sorry, it's in inches, it's so much easier for this. This is going to go onto a panel. If I just pop this down you might see it better, sorry. That is 3¼ by 4¾ and that is going to go onto a note card that measures 3½ by 5 when it's folded up. So the note cards come as a pack of 20 and they're scored and they come with envelopes. So I'm actually going to grab the envelopes out now so I can stamp those as we go along. So I've got 3 and they're super smooth envelopes, and obviously are using our paper. Right, let's move these out of the way. Okay, those are my envelopes. So let's start left to right. I'm going to move these out of the way. So I hope everybody is well this morning. It's another really dull morning here, but I guess that's just the way it goes, isn't it? So for this one I'm going to use Soft Sea Foam because I don't want my background to be too overpowering. I want a really soft background. Move that out of the light. So I'm going to use that, Soft Sea Foam, and then Mossy Meadow for the leaf itself. Okay, so I'm just wondering why Facebook's kicked me off. I hope you're all still there. Fingers crossed. Okay, so let's move this one out of the way, and I'm going to use Soft Sea Foam for my background. I'll get this card out from the back. I do like, as you know, if you follow me for a while, I do like to stamp the images when I first get a stamp. One, that allows me to check that there's no faults or anything. It's very rare, but occasionally these things do happen. And it also gives you a feel for how they stamp, and it also means then you're not quite so worried about using them because you've actually, you know, used them for the first time. Oh, Jeanette's still here. Very good. Okay, so I'm going to ink this one up. Just going to make sure that's clean to start with. It looks clean. Perfect. So I think because I'm just using quite small note cards, I'm just going to stamp one background and one leaf. Okay, so you can see, well, I'm hoping you can see there's a little bit of detail within that, so you've got some light and some shade on the dottage itself. It's not all the same. Let's wipe that down ready. And then I think I'm going to use this lovely sycamore star leaf. Funny enough, that's how what I did with that one. And change ink pads. Oh, and while I'm at it, what I meant to do That's the envelope as well. So let's try and do these in together. So just going to pop this down here. Oh, bless you, Bridie. Yeah, it seems to be great everywhere. We did manage our Christmas tree at the weekend, so I'm not much further ahead of you. So it's nice to have a little bit of sparkle from the tree. So this is Mossy Meadow. This is actually a brand new ink pad. When the inks were on sale recently, I treated myself to some replacement ones because my ink pads take a fair amount of a battering. Obviously they get used, well, not everyone gets used every day, but they get used on a regular basis. They get used for classes and coffee and card. So you can see how detailed that is. Love it. I'm going to move that round so that I don't get too much ink where I shouldn't. Do it like that. There we go. So I'm going to put this one just slightly off the edge. Like so. There's that one. And then I'll wipe that down and re-ink it. And I like the sort of softness of the edges. So you could put this at an angle, I don't know, or straight. No, I've done that one straight. I'm going to do this one straight. But you could put them at an angle if you preferred. There we go. So there's the detail there. And then I'm going to add my Sending Love across here. That's my plan. And obviously I'm going to do it in the darker colour because I want to be able to read it. And I'm just going to ascertain how straight I've got this by using the lines on my grid paper. Yeah, that's not bad. So we've got Sending Love. Actually, I quite like it as it is. Because my Heartfelt Wishes is going to be quite a long way down, so I think I'm just going to leave Sending Love because we've got this lower part here of the G. If I had a larger card, then I would put my Heartfelt Wishes here to the right, but I'm actually just going to leave that as it is. And then we'll just mount that one up. So I do like the Mossy Meadow. Well, I like all of our greens actually. I like Pear Pizzazz for a nice pale neutral green. I love Granny Apple Green as a vibrant green for colouring. And Mossy Meadow's a nice deep green. But equally I like Soft Succulent, that nice soft green. Okay, just going to move this piece out of the way in case it's got any ink on it. Fold my note card over. Now they are scored, but you will need a bone folder or a ruler or the edge of a block to make a nice crease, because they're thick cards. Okay, and then that's just going to go on the top. So this would make a lovely present, to make a set of cards like this. And obviously you could vary the sentiments, you could make them into thank you cards. There we go. And you could add some bling, but actually I don't think it needs it. I like the neutral look, you know, as sort of like nature without anything added on. Obviously we've added our sentiments. Okay, so that's going to be our first one, so I hope you like that one. Okay, so that's the Mossy Meadow. Now we're going to do Mary Merlot and Grey Granite. And I just plucked these colours out without, you know, I wasn't really thinking a great deal. So I'm hoping it will work. Sorry, my arm right in the way there. Okay, so I brought my envelope and my next card in. Okay, so let's give this a go. Grey Granite, Mary Merlot. Now I do know that my Mary Merlot, I think, is still in need of re-inking, so we'll have a look and see. So let's try the background first. Let's see what it looks like. Perfect. So can't quite decide which way I want the grain to go. I think I'll do it this way. Like so. There we are. And let's do the same for the envelope. And again, it's got sort of inbuilt patching and shade to it, which gives this lovely, you know, weathered effect here. And also it means you don't have to worry too much if you haven't stamped it correctly, because it's sort of excuse me, part and parcel. Okay, so let's try Mary Merlot, and let's try this sort of beach stamp. Okay, so I definitely need to re-ink it, so let me just do that. She says. There we go. Because I can't really have the leaf so pale you can hardly see it. So if you haven't seen how we re-ink our ink pads, then this is how it's done, or this is how I do it rather. Obviously if you've seen this before, I apologise. So we have our re-inkers available for all of our Stampin' Up colours, and you only need a little bit to re-ink your ink pad. So I'm just squeezing the bottle like so on either side of here, and you can see how quickly that's disappearing. That shows how dry that was. And then you want to take a bone folder, you could use an old credit, well, not necessarily a credit card, but a store card, that sort of thing. And you just want to move this around. Now the reason I do it in 2 blocks is that it will even up, but it means that if you've over inked it on one part, you've got a little bit of a lighter area. So I'm just moving that around. And normally I would say you want to leave that to settle before you stamp, but let's see what that's like. Okay, so I'm going to go in this part here where I added the ink. Yes, somewhat different, isn't it? That's perfect. Okay, so let's pop our piece on here. Pick it up. If anything, that's slightly too inky now. Just move that a little bit more. So what I'm doing is I'm just moving some of that ink to the left. Let's wipe that down and re-ink it from the right. That's better. Okay, there we are. A little bit different to our first impression. Okay, let's do the same on the envelope. And you could also stamp the inside if you wanted to. There we go. And then I'm going to use that nice bold colour for my sentiments again. So I'm just going to keep the same sentiment. I just like that. Sending love, you know, could be for anything. It could be sending love in terms of a thank you letter that you could pop inside. It's my UPS man, I think. Thank you! Indeed it was. Okay. There we are. So there we have it, and then we can mount that up. So you could create a set of these really easily, even without, you don't even need to change colour. You could just stamp the backgrounds all in one colour and then stamp leaves in different colours or the same colour, whatever you wanted. So you could create a set of cards really easily. This is our Merry Merlot backing, and it really does show the great colour coordination of Stampin' Up. So you've got the card, you've got the ink, we have the refill when you've run out of ink, and then we have the embellishments, ribbon, things like that to coordinate, and obviously the designer papers that go with it too. Okay, see a little bit of ink on there. Okay, and then that's going to go onto our card. So hi to anybody else who's joined us. It's not popping up telling me who's there, but if you have joined us since the beginning, then hi and welcome. Slightly different time for me today, and because I realised I'm actually out this evening, so that's going to be that one. So if you're in the UK and you normally order for me, obviously it's too late now, sadly, for Christmas delivery. But I do have available gift vouchers. So if you were thinking of a present for yourself or for someone else, then I can send a gift voucher. I can send it via email, or if you're local I can print it and deliver it. And I also have kits available. Obviously first class posting here in the UK has passed, although obviously we still have collections going on. So that's another opportunity if you want to grab some crafty products. So that's number 1. Number 2, let's do number 3. So for this one I've chosen Mango Melody and Sahara Sand, and then that's the Mango Melody card. Now I do have a brand new Mango Melody ink pad. Do you think I can find it? No. So I might need to re-ink that one, we'll see. So for this one I'm going to use the small little dots, and I'm obviously going to do more than one of these. So what I'm actually going to do, because this leaf is the one I'm going to use for this one, is quite a long thin leaf, so I'm just going to bring this down like so. And where you've got a background, you really do want to turn it round so that you don't get an exact replica going down. It's amazing how you can spot a pattern like that even though you think it's really random. So I always recommend, if you're stamping it, stamp once, turn it round, and then turn it round again. Oh, hi Jen. Yes, I know that. I think the texture stamps you could use for any background, especially the dots and everything like that. Thank you for your gorgeous card, Jen. Absolutely stunning. I will be doing a show and tell with all the Christmas cards that I've received that are handmade, so watch out for that. And yours, it will be on that, Jen, because I love it. Okay, so for this one we've got mango. Oh, I haven't done my envelope. Let's do that as we go along. So again, I'm going to do one like that and then turn it round. Like so. But I know you can't really see much of that, to bring it up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so let's try this Mango Melody. You can see it's rather well used. Let's see. That's lighter than So Saffron. Right, let's refill this one too. We might as well while we're here. So you can buy the refills, as I said, for all of our colours. And we do usually have them available as a colour family, so you can buy all of them in one go. But I know we've had some supply issues over in the States, so I think at the moment you can just buy them individual colours, which is quite a good way to do it. If you order from me on a regular basis, just add one one refill each time, for example. I'm just going to... Yes, I know. Hi, Sylvia. Right, I'm just going to fold this first, and then I can use my bone folder for spreading that ink around. There we go. So this is what I want to do, is manipulate it so it drops into the edge and soaks into the ink pad. Obviously you can see how many times I must have used this a lot, because it's got a sort of an edge where the refill hasn't quite reached. But you know, the ink pads will just keep going. Right, let's try that. And also you can use your refills for other things as well. You can use them for watercolour techniques. You can drop them onto excuse me, onto blocks and things like that. So my refills don't only get used for refilling inks. Let's have a look and see if that's enough. That's a bit better, isn't it? Yeah, that will do nicely. I don't want to overdo it. Okay, let's turn this round. So we've got our dotty background here and our envelope. So I'm going to ink this up, and I've kept the others vertical, so I'm going to do the same with this, but I think this would look nice at an angle as well. There we go. Let's do the envelope. Jen's a Sahara sand fan. I haven't used Sahara sand for quite a long time actually. I always used to go crumb cake, old olive, and real red. Or was it cherry cobbler? And that was, yeah, that was it. But it's amazing how I think your tastes change as well as you get older. And also things around you change, you know, in terms of seasons and things like that, and I think that makes a difference. So we're going to pop our Sending Love onto here. Make sure that I cleaned it off from last time, and then making sure that I ink up the bit where I've added the ink. Go. That's it. Let's cover that up. Yeah, I don't know that I could choose an all-time favourite now. So this is how this one is going to go together. 1, 2, 3, like so. Yes, that's very true. Actually, no, I do know which my all-time favourite is. And that's Early Espresso. For the same reason. I'm always refilling Early Espresso ink pads, because I use it for outlines instead of black. A lot of American demonstrators, they all use black. And I prefer espresso, just a little bit softer. So that's going to go onto there. So Sylvia and Jen and anybody else who's joined since the start, we're using some retiring sets up before they go. So this is Gorgeous Leaves for the images, and then Heartfelt Wishes for the sentiments. There we go. Just turn that over. press it down. There we are, and that's our matching envelope. So I've got a set of 3. Well, we're done with the others. Oh, here they are. So I've used the three different combinations of the background stamp and the leaf, and obviously you can entirely mix and match these. So we've got this one here with Mossy Meadow and Soft Sea Foam, and then we've got this one here with Grey Granite and Merry Merlot. And then our final one, Sahara Sand and Mango Melody. And then we've got envelopes to match in each of the cases. There we go. So nice simple cards. You can make a whole stack of these up with different sentiments and wrap them in a ribbon, pop them in a little bag, pop them in one of our card boxes, and gift those. I think they would be really really nice. You could also make your own little box to pop them into. There's the green one there. So I wonder which is your preferred combination. It's difficult because you've got different stamps and different colours, so it's not a true indicator. I think probably that one is my favourite, but yeah, all very pretty. So these are the stamp sets. So Gorgeous Leaves, this is still available as of half an hour ago. I definitely know that. Gorgeous Leaves is £20. And then the Heartfelt Wishes is reduced from 20 to 10, and that's got 10 different sentiments that you can mix and match as well. And I just like the style of that. I use the Merry Christmas one a great deal, plus Sending Love and Cheers. And then you've got these smaller sentiments that you can add into them. Okay, so there we go. That's it for today's live. I hope you've enjoyed those. Do let me know which colour you like, a colour combination you like the best. Always nice to know what people other people like. And that's the sample of the stamps from the stamp set. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you so much. Oh, hi Tracy. Thanks Jeanette and Sylvia, thank you. Yes, so I hope you enjoy the rest of your day if you're watching this earlier on in the day. And if you're watching this on catch up and replay, Facebook or YouTube, and you have any questions about the products, obviously the availability for these is as of the UK. So if you're in Australia or Canada or US, then obviously check your local supply for that. But I just think it's a nice combination and one of my favourite sets. And there are some dies that go with this called Intricate Leaves dies. So if you like fine leaves, and they also cut out the leaves themselves, then have a look for those too, and look for them separately. Don't look for them as a bundle because you'll get a better price, because the Intricate Leaves dies are reduced separately to the bundle. Okay, so thank you so much everybody. I really appreciate you joining me. Hi Catherine, sorry I'm just wrapping up, my darling. Do apologise. But it'll be available on replay very shortly. These are the cards that we made. So I look forward to crafting with you again tomorrow, Wednesday, and we're back at 10 o'clock again. So thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Do take care. Stay safe in these rather unusual times that we have yet again. And I look forward to crafting with you soon. Any questions, or if you'd like to order, just give me a shout. Thank you so much. Don't apologise, Catherine. That's fine. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.